In 2017, I was in my third year of college. I had this, fantasy, this dream that, hey, I'm going to a school with 50,000 students, UT Austin. Um, for sure, I'll get a girlfriend in college, right? Everybody does. Party, school, this many kids. It was my third year, still hadn't happened. And in the second semester of my third year, I studied abroad in Scotland. Okay, so just imagine in January I arrive in cold, dark, rainy, just utterly miserable, dark Scotland. Okay, so the setting's already miserable, right? But during that time, okay, in that semester, there was a particular girl that I started spending a lot of time with, mostly like doing our homework together and, me doing nice things for her, listening to her talk about other guys that she had been going on dates with, right? Like real simpy shit. Except in my head, I was like, oh, like I'm playing the slow game. Like over time, she's gonna notice that I'm really the one that she wants. Right? And I just remember at this time justifying to myself that this girl was like the one and like super attractive, even though, she wasn't really exactly what I really wanted. She was just the only girl that was really showing me some attention at the time. And I personally had this cave, this void, this hole in my heart of just emptiness, loneliness, sadness, that I was desperately trying to fill with just anybody. And I thought a female companion would do the trick, right? I thought, for sure a girlfriend was what I needed in order to stop feeling this aching pain, these Friday nights where I would spend alone in my dorm room, just wondering to myself, like, what's the point of all this? Like, I'm here in a foreign country. I have no one to travel with, do fun shit with. I'm all alone. I have no one to go out with, just to even go get a meal with or try some new restaurants. My fantasy was that me and this girl would cook together in the warm kitchen together and watch a movie, in the cold of Scotland winter. Yeah, I was just, empty. I was empty. And despite all my sort of outer successes up to that point in life, having straight A's, good grades, being in a good school, top engineering school, very much on paper, like I should be a happy guy and also a guy that would be attractive to women, that just wasn't happening. And the predominant thought that I entertained a lot at that time was pretty much, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Yeah, I mean, the reasons I could come up with were like I'm Asian, so girls just don't like Asians. That was an easy one to rely on. It's something I had been sort of subconsciously taught via the media and just my childhood experiences growing up, right? So that's an easy excuse to lean on. But even then I was like, damn, like I'm pretty well traveled. I know different languages. I know different hobbies. I even play the guitar. Like I should be cool, right? And in retrospect, now I can see why, the guys that I currently help, right, guys who are very good on paper, feel that there's something wrong with them because they've done everything that they're supposed to do. They've got the car, the house, the job, all of that stuff that our parents told us to do, but they're still not getting the success with women that they want. And that's where I was, right? So I can see now, like, oh, these guys are thinking the same as me because I've done all the things that I was supposed to do. So it must be something with me now. There must be something fucked up about me. So finally, at the end of the semester, I asked this girl out. And really by that, I just mean I confessed to her, told her like, hey, like, I really like you. I want us to be like more than friends. And she was very nice about it. But of course, like the classic, rejection of like, oh, hey, Alex, like you're a really great guy, somebody would be lucky to have you as their boyfriend, right? But, I'm not looking to date right now and I don't want to ruin our friendship, etc. And that was that. My castle of fantasies came crushing down. Okay, I had literally built up a fantasy of me being with this girl that I didn't even really like that much over the course of 4 to 5 months to becoming this huge thing in my head that frankly didn't even exist in her head. Like the whole time she saw me as a friend, which is fine. Like that's like how it actually was. I was the one projecting and creating this castle of dreams in my head that just all came crushing down all at once. I remember that was during final season. I couldn't even think straight. I couldn't study. My head was just a whirlwind. Like my head hurt. Like I couldn't get out of the house. I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't like do anything. I just couldn't function. I was just in a dark like tornado of emotions for like 1 month. Yeah. Finally when I came home and then sort of snapped out of that, change of setting back in Texas, that was my rock bottom. And from there, I really had nowhere to go except for up. So next thing you know, it's my senior year of college, and this is when I started relentlessly Googling, how do I get a girlfriend, right? And you find the crazy internet rabbit hole of dating advice. Very confusing. But I started trying some random stuff, at least doing stuff, right? I started approaching girls on campus, which was not a great idea. I even double approached some girls. They were like, oh, you did this to me last week. Oops. I started trying to do like online photography for my dating profile. My friend had a professional camera, took some photos for me. I tried to like dress up nice and improve my fashion. That didn't really lead anywhere, but I did ask a couple of girls out from, different classes and school activities I was in. I probably went on like 2 or 3 dates that semester, which was a huge success for me. I was like, wow, like, okay, something's working. I didn't know what to do on those dates, so they didn't go very far. But I was like, okay, well, there's some hope. There's some potential. I very distinctly remember to myself at that time, I thought if I could just get like one date a month, I would be the happiest man in the world. Like it would just solve all my problems. Just one date a month. The key turning point was after I graduated, I met a group of guys who sort of took me under their wing. They were older guys also working on their dating lives, and they were my first mentors. They were the first mentors who taught me stuff that they knew from their experiences that could help me with my dating life. And truth be told, I wish I could have paid some of the mentors that I saw on YouTube. I wish I could have joined their immersions, their boot camps, their live trainings, their events, whatever. I just didn't have the money. Like I was literally in the last year of college, I had nothing. So the best I could do was I networked with these guys and they gave me what advice they had. It wasn't all great or anything, but it gave me a little bit of a boost. And just by doing something, just by going out there and taking action, I started getting some results, okay? Nothing insane, but the ball was actually rolling now. So I spent a year teaching English in Mexico. Basically made a couple $100 from doing that, but it was fun. It was in a foreign country. I really wanted to travel. Had a tiny bit of dating experience there, like really nothing crazy because all I had was anecdotal advice from these guy friends of mine and like random YouTube advice, which is impossible to consolidate into something that was actually applicable for me. But as soon as I came back, I started working at Oracle, my first like real boy job. And at that point, I spent literally my first paycheck on a dating program, $3,000, boom, paid in full. Got this guy to teach me some stuff, okay? Literally since then, over the next 4 years, basically, I've spent close to $50,000 on dating, which you may be thinking, Alex, that's fucking ridiculous. Why would you do that? Well, in my head, it made all the sense in the world, especially given where I'm sitting right now. It actually did make all the sense in the world. I mean, for one thing, college costs over $50,000. So I was like, why would I not spend Like, why would I not invest to the same degree that I did in my formal education for one area of my life, for another area of my life, love and relationships, that's equally, if not more important, right? Why would I treat one thing like, oh, I should, invest all this time, energy, and money into, and the other thing as if it's just this thing I should just watch for free on YouTube? The other thing was that I was just desperate, man. I was desperate. Like, I craved love so much, I was willing to just drain my bank account till I figured this out, because, I wasn't going to die alone. I just was not going to die alone. So yeah, over the course of the next 4 years, I took a bunch of dating mentorings online, in person, boot camps, all the jazz, right? Some were good, some were not so good, some were great, some transformed my life, right? I also learned over that time how to choose mentors, have a more discerning eye for the right mentor, so that I pick the ones that I know I'll, get something out of. But yeah, I started getting laid. I started going on a lot of dates. I started traveling and meeting women from different countries, had some, short relationships. And I distinctly remember there was at one point where I was like, hey, what about that dark, empty, lonely, soulless feeling that I had back in the day? Like, where did that go? And I realized it was gone. I was like, this is weird. Like, I don't feel this sense of emptiness, this void, this darkness, this shame, this like, what's wrong with me? Where did all those thoughts and emotions go? Like, I'm just like void of it now. Like, it's gone. And that's when I realized I had come full circle, that this void had motivated me to get good with girls. And by getting to some degree good with girls, well, required me to actually start liking myself, start investing in myself, start becoming more confident, start doing things to please myself, start making myself feel better, right? Like when you dress better, when you work out, when you challenge yourself, when you spend money investing on making yourself better, you end up feeling better because you are telling yourself that you value yourself. And that process is what brought me to a place where I actually liked myself. Like, I didn't think there was something deficient with me because I was Asian anymore, right? I didn't think there was something wrong with me. Like, those thoughts just went away. And that's when I realized, wow, like, it was never all about the girls all along. For sure, I wanted girls in my life, but that void was something that no girl could fill. No girl would ever be able to fill that void, and only I could. And the process that I went through of growth and transformation is what ultimately filled that void and made me the man that I am today. So that's my story with loneliness. Take what you will from it. The place where I was deep and dark and motivated action. And, I was filled with crushing shame and loneliness. But, I guess I go out of my way to tell this story to show you that, well, probably you've gone through something like this. I mean, if you're watching this, chances are you had some form of heartbreak at some point. Maybe you fantasized about, some girls at some point as well. Maybe you think there's something wrong with you. Or maybe you're just an Asian guy and you're just lonely. All of the above are valid. All of the above are valid, and I want to just tell you that, there's hope. There's absolutely hope. I look nothing like I did back in the day, and I speak nothing like I did, and I come across my vibe, my confidence. It's all night and day. It's completely different, and it's the same thing for my clients, except they go through it much faster. It took me years. For my clients, it takes months. Right, months or even weeks sometimes for them to just, flip that switch, right? There's a key button that I just need to press for them, and they just transform into that version of themselves that all of a sudden is magnetic, is like sunshine, is like sun rays, is energetic, right? Is attracting women instead of being this dark void. Anyways, I'm just going on a rant now. So, subscribe. to my channel if you like this video, if you want to hear more stories from me about my dating journey, my clients' dating journeys, also just about all sorts of dating advice specifically for Asian men. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.